Hi, my name is Lena Oshinskie, and I'm a sophomore English and Spanish major at the University of Alabama. This video is for my high school Spanish teacher, Señor Esteban. I will never forget you because you made our Spanish class so much more than it could have been. Up to that point, up to my junior year in high school, which was the first year that I had the privilege of having you as my teacher, I sailed through my Spanish classes. I had not a worry in the world about making it through because the teachers focused so much on the rote memorization of the vocabulary and of the verb tenses, and that was just something that I just got it. I would read through the vocabulary just one time and I would just know it. And they did that because Spanish is, I believe, and foreign languages, I believe, are the hardest subject to teach in American high schools because students don't see the relevance and they don't care to learn a subject that they don't see being directly applicable to their life. So it's such a hard subject to teach, and so many teachers do as much as they can, but only focus on some memorization and things that they can test rather than comprehending the language, understanding the language, and having oral proficiency in that language. And what I appreciated about your class was that you stayed away from that mentality and that mindset. And every day we would come into your class and learn not only about how to speak Spanish, we had to listen to all your crazy stories in Spanish, learned about how to understand Spanish so much better. And you also taught us so much about Spanish history and Spanish culture, and you interspersed your knowledge into every single lesson. And even beyond just the realm of Spanish culture and Latin American culture, you referenced your knowledge in class all the time, that so much that it gave me a better understanding of the world as a whole and how things work together, how the economy works, how the governments work. And I appreciate that so much. But the thing that I appreciate the most about you as a teacher is not something that you ever said to me or you ever did, but it's something that you showed me just by coming to class every single day. Something that I should mention about Señor Esteban is that he was really a doctor. He was Dr. Esteban, and he had such a wealth of knowledge because of all of his education that he shared with us every single day in class. But because he had this advanced degree, he could have chosen so many other careers. He didn't have to be a Spanish teacher in a public high school teaching the hardest subject to a very, very apathetic group of students. But he did make that decision, and so many students' lives benefited from that decision, whether Mr. Esteban, whether they express it to you or whether they don't express it to you, you made a huge difference. And when I came to college last fall, I was surrounded by so many driven and intelligent students who are on the pre-med track or on the pre-law track. They're studying all the time, they're working hard so that they can have these lucrative careers. And surrounded by that, it's hard not to give into that, and especially for me because I grew up in a household where both my parents are lawyers, just to say, you know what, I'm pre-law. And that's what I did say. I said, I'm pre-law, I'm going to keep studying Spanish, but I'm going to study international relations so that I can be an international relations lawyer, work with governments, something like that. And that was when I would tell people that, they would say, oh, okay, because that's just what made sense for me as a student that's considered intelligent, just to fall into a type of career like that. But I always knew that that's really not what I wanted to do. And after being a camp counselor and feeling this bond that I had with my campers, and through all the mentoring experience that I had the privilege of having during my freshman year of college, I knew that where I wanted to be was in the classroom, surrounded by students. And that can be a hard thing to say, especially when you're living in such an academic community. It can be a hard thing to tell people, I'm going to be a teacher, I'm going to choose that job where I make so much less money and I'm so much less respected, even though I could be a lawyer, I could be revered, I could have those letters at the end of my name. And Señor Esteban helped me to make that decision, not because he tried to convince us to be teachers every day, but because he showed us by coming into class every day that he values education. He values imparting his knowledge and his wisdom on the next generation of students. even though he didn't have to make that decision. But he did, and that's what made all the difference. Señor Esteban, you would always come into class and say, Yo lloro para el futuro de América, which means I cry for the future of America. He would always lament about the teenagers of today's society and their apathy and their selfishness. But, Señor, you know that what you have taught makes a difference, and if there were more teachers like you, you wouldn't have to cry for the future of America, because they would be making America a better place every day. And I want to be like you, and I want to make America a better place every day, and I think that the best way for me to do that is to stand in front of a classroom every day. So thank you for helping me to make that decision, and thank you for making my last years of high school so much more enriching.